you? I hope you're doing well. If you have seen me for the first time, my name is Sharon and I vlog my whole medical school journey. That's what this channel is about. I vlog my journey to being a doctor, and I am a fifth year medical student out of 7 years, or 3 years out of 5 direct entry. So either way, I have 2 years left to go, child. 2 years left. Wow. Okay. Anyways, I have a backstory. A little backstory. So as you guys might know, my journey into medical school was literally so hard. It had so many obstacles, so many twists and turns. It was so exhausting. A big part of the reason why I never gave up or lost hope or just changed courses is because of these medical school influencers, the medical school YouTubers, people who vlog the medical school journey. I was so inspired that I started my own channel. But yeah, they really inspired me to just keep working hard, to never give up, and to keep chasing the dream. And so recently I was just going through their videos and their YouTube channels just to see how they're doing, where they have reached in their medical school journeys. And I was quite shocked to see that, guys, a large number of them have quit. Why? How do you go that far and you're quitting? What do you all know that I don't know? So anyways, that's what this video is about. I'm gonna be reacting to a lot of these videos of these people quitting medical school. So I'm gonna start this video with Elizabeth Phillips. If you guys don't know her, she used to be Ali Abdul's assistant, and she's so cool. Like, she's a whole artist and she's so smart and so beautiful. Like, damn, it's a good thing that she's creating. Honestly, one person can't be that great at everything. Okay, I'm joking.
I wish I could say this video was clickbait. It's really not. I have applied for an interruption from studies from university, which means that I will not be going back to university.
Yikes, that's such a final decision.
When I was considering this, I was so sad and so terrified because I find it so hard to explain. This is something I haven't talked about on this channel before, but just how much I personally have put into getting into medicine. After I got accepted into medical school, I had to take 3 years out to work to make the money to come into medical school.
Why is medical school so expensive? Why do they make it so hard? They make it so hard to be a doctor, you guys.
Next year will be very interesting in seeing just hopefully how excited I will be to return.
So she's not quitting, she's just taking a year off, which is interesting that her school has allowed her to do that. I don't know if Unilas would let me. I don't know if Unilas would let me take a year out of school. I think they'll just, I don't know how, but I think I'll be charged. That's one for sure. I feel like they'll just charge me more money.
I think my personal health comes above everything else, and I think the realization of life being so short just gave me that last push to think that in the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, I will be so much more grateful and happy that I took this time out to get better before returning back.
I'm sensing some very sad vibes. It seems like she had to leave for, she mentioned her health. She didn't say whether her physical health or her mental health, but she had to leave for her health. And I think that is just one of the things that you don't plan for in medical school. You just plan for, you know, the 5 or 7 years, depending on your school, of hardcore, intense learning. You don't really think about the fact that, you know, life can happen to you. Life can happen any second. It can happen to anyone. And it is sad that she had to leave, but I think that your mental health is so important. It's just not worth it to stay in this grueling program if you are not even 100% up to it, because yo guys, mental health is so important. Mental health is extremely important. It's not discussed enough. And I will say that if you are someone who is going through something, seek help. So her school actually gave her permission to just take a year off, and I think that is so beautiful. I think at my school you can defer a semester. I don't know if you can defer an entire year. I don't even know if you would come back, what would be the logistics of that. I think those are options that should be available for medical students, because it's such a long course and it takes a toll on you mentally, physically. Yeah, for her, she had to leave for her mental health, and I get it. I've had points where, you know, I've just been so, geez, things have not been adding up. Like mentally, I've not been well, but it has never, thankfully, gotten to this point. And I'm pro therapy. You guys know I will always tell you to go. If your institution is worth half its salt, you should have a counselor or a therapist on the premise. Go talk to them. They get paid either way, so just go talk to them, because yeah, your mental health is super important. So she had to leave for that, and I respect that. Not only I respect, I understand, and I respect. I personally haven't gotten to the point in my mental health where quitting medicine has ever been a choice, but I understand her reasoning and I respect it. That was sad, you guys. I hope she's fine. I hope she's fine. And she's so cute. She's so cute. Okay, the next person is Kevin Jubbal. I know Kevin Jubbal quit a long time ago, but I actually never watched this video for why he quit, because I didn't want to get sad and all depressed and just like rethink my life choices. But since we're doing this, let's just do it all in one go.
The four most common questions. The number one most common question I get is, why did you hate it? Why did you not like residency? Why did you must have quit because you hated it. That's not true. The reason I quit is not because I didn't like plastic surgery. I think by far, I mean, again, I am biased, but I think that plastic surgery by far is the coolest, most innovative, sci-fi, exciting, beautiful field in all of medicine. So it's not because I hated plastic surgery.
In case you didn't know, like he just explained, he was specializing in plastic surgery. He had started the journey of specializing in plastic surgery, and it's interesting because I did watch his last day of plastic surgery, and he has the passion for it. He has that glimmer in his eye when he's talking about it. Okay, this one is making me nervous because he seems to be just as passionate about medicine as I am, and it's like, what did you discover that's better than medicine? What did you discover? But jeez, now I'm getting nervous, you guys. What if he makes some serious points?
Most common question I get is, what happens to MSI? You can't have quit residency and then still work on MSI.
So this guy runs like a super successful website and YouTube channel where he gets medical students into residency and pre-med into medicine. I started watching his channel back in pre-med.
I kind of see where that's coming from, but it doesn't make sense, because Med School Insiders is about empowering pre-meds and medical students and helping them get into either med school or residency. And our customers have been super happy because we have the systems in place that produce amazing results. And whether or not I'm in residency, that doesn't change anything. Our company's not Residency Insiders, right? So I'm not helping residents get into fellowship.
It's a very good point about he doesn't need to finish residency to continue doing what he's doing. And I guess the whole spiel of it is that he just found something he's more passionate about. So yeah, okay, let me just keep watching before I start making broad statements, child.
We take medical students, business students, and engineering students, put them on these interdisciplinary teams, give them the resources and mentorship, and help them create healthcare startups. So this thing like took off. It was really, really exciting, actually. It was wild. We secured funding. We were in multiple different news articles. The engineering podcast interviewed us. It was wild. It was awesome times. Soon after that, in October of 2016, I started Med School Insiders.
This guy's got the entrepreneurship gene, and I guess when you have something that you're just as passionate about as medicine, first of all, that's just like really impressive. Like, I wonder how far we would be like as African students if we had half the resources that he had, because that's actually so impressive.
Now, as you can imagine, surgical residency is challenging, and at the same time, I was balancing BlueLink, the biomedical incubator, as well as Med School Insiders, as well as being a resident in the hospital, as well as studying when I went back home. So there was a lot to do and not enough time. There just weren't enough hours in a day. I realized that I couldn't sustain this for 6 years. Plastic surgery residency is 6 years, and something had to change. Essentially what that came down to is I can't do both plastic surgery and entrepreneurship. It's just not going to work. I realized that by doing both plastics and entrepreneurship, I was going to suck at both. I wanted to be an excellent surgeon and be an excellent entrepreneur, but by trying to do both, I wouldn't be excellent at either.
It is more of an entrepreneur than a surgeon or a medical student. And with medicine, I guess you can go through medical school with like having other passions. You can definitely go through it, but I guess having a residency as competitive as surgery would be quite challenging. You know, I wonder what it would be like to have burning fire and desire for something other than medicine. And that actually scares me a lot, because I'm someone who, yeah, medicine is like my first choice, but if I got the bug for something else or something that I was more passionate about, you know, because I have a lot of passions, and I do worry, like, if I was given the resources that he's given, would I still be doing medicine, you guys? I don't know. Now I'm getting worked up. So the next video is gonna be Nella Grace. Nella Grace is a Zimbabwean YouTuber. Actually, she lives in the UK, but she is Zimbabwean. And yeah, she went to medical school in Lithuania. That's how deep I was like into this whole world. Like, I've been knowing where these people go to school and everything. Yeah, she went to school in Lithuania and she's back in the UK. So let's hear what she has to say. I don't know if this is clickbait or not.
It was just too much. I felt overwhelmed. I felt anxious. Well, I was more depressed than anxious. And that was just because I've realized it was never diagnosed clinically, just to make a disclaimer. Like, I never went to a doctor, but I knew what was going on with myself. So I was in a foreign country, different language, by myself, completely isolated. And I made that worse in that I didn't really seek out too much friendships. I literally had 2 friends, well, throughout my whole medical school career, really. But in that first year, I think I only had one friend, one close friend. I was isolated.
That one is a good point. Because I am in a foreign country by myself with no family. It's just me in this country all alone. And I relate to that a lot. That aspect is depressing. It is depressing. But, you know, okay, let's hear what she says, and then, yeah.
I was living in Lithuania, and if you don't know Lithuania, it's very cold, very grey. Like, I think the coldest it ever got at some point was -20, which is ridiculous for what I'm used to. There was just so much going on at the time, and uni itself wasn't that bad. So medical school itself wasn't bad. I really wanted to be a doctor, and I really enjoyed my studies, but the surroundings of my surroundings just made it really difficult. So I fell into a depression, and it was just awful. I did not move out of bed. I was missing classes. I was just lack of motivation to do anything that I used to enjoy before. All these other symptoms that were just pointing towards depression. And it got to a point where I just thought, this is not worth it. And I left. So I got home over summer, and just long story short, quit medical school.
Wow, okay. Let's unpack that for a second. I relate so hard. I relate to everything she's saying, because that is literally my life story. Okay, except for the -20 degrees part, because I could never do that. That's why I never even considered going to Russia for medicine, because, like, why so cold? Why? I'm not doing that. But I really relate so bad, like being in a foreign country, foreign language, you don't know anybody, and like she said, she had 2 friends. That's like really depressing. I think for me, that's actually what happened to me last semester. I don't think I talked about it too much. I don't think I should make a video about it. But, you know, when I moved, I felt so isolated. And that's why I'm actually in this new place. I'm happier here. I think the advice that I would give people who are in her situation or who relate to her situation is, don't be stuck in one place. Like, find what works for you. Like, this country, I'm all alone and everything, yeah, but find other people who are going through the same journey as you. Fight it, I would say. Don't let it win. Don't let the depression win. Like, fight it. Like, make actual changes in your life so that you are in a better place. yeah, that's what happened for me. Like I just had to move and I had to surround myself with other students just so that that feeling of loneliness wouldn't be so, you know. I actually should make a separate video about that because I really relate to that aspect of being in a country where it's just you, no aunts, no uncle, no brother, just you. So I get it. But then she left. She left. It got so bad for her, you know, and I think that is so sad. That is so sad. That is so sad. But I would say for me, I knew going in, like, I'm gonna be alone, I'm not gonna have anyone, and I've actually been pleasantly surprised because I did end up making friends who have made this whole process better, less stressful. But I feel like now I should make a video about this because I have a lot to say on this. Like I really, girl, I get you. I understand what you went through. I really understand what you went through. Like I understand, like a lot. Like I understand.
One of the things that I realized at the time was that I did not seek help. I did not seek help in terms of friends. I never told anyone except my husband, boyfriend at the time. I told him that I was struggling, but he was living, you know, a whole country away, and I couldn't really rely solely on a person who's not a licensed therapist, who doesn't really know how to help me. Just think that it's so important to get the professional help that you can. That if you're struggling with your mental health in medical school or even as a doctor, get help. I know that it can seem like, you know, you might not even feel like, well, I'm not clinically diagnosed, so I don't need help, or what's someone going to do for me? But these people are licensed for a reason.
Therapy is important. Therapy is important. If you go to my school, there's therapists. Every campus has a therapist. Go talk to them. I will say that. Go talk to a therapist. If you don't have friends, that's fine. It's normal to not have friends. Go find a therapist. Talk to them. She quit because she didn't talk to a therapist. So you should also talk to a therapist. Talk to a therapist.
Okay, so if you're struggling, then maybe you need to come home more. Maybe you need to come out of your comfort zone more.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point about going home. Yes, I feel like for me, I think the depression was a bit more intense because I wasn't going home as often because I had a year where I didn't go home for a year. I'll say go home every chance you get. Every 6 months, go home. If you are from like a healthy, loving family, I'll say go home, child. It really helps to put things back into perspective about like why are you even here, because it literally, you can forget, you can get swept up in this whole different country, different culture, different world, and it can feel so, it can kind of feel like you are being like you are in the middle and it's like the world is like closing in on you. But when you go home, you feel better. You really feel better. Okay, so I feel like this video is getting too long and I'm running out of space. And I'm gonna end this video here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I don't know. If you like this type of content, there's a lot of it on my channel. Feel free to subscribe, child. And yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. See you on the flip side. See you in the next video. Deuces.